So if you had to pick one single term in all of Western thought that kind of ties everything together.
Like a central intellectual knot.
Exactly. A knot connecting cosmic order, pure reason, and even divine action. It has to be logos, right?
It absolutely does. And just, translating it simply as the word hides this massive, profound paradox.
It really does.
And that's our mission for this deep dive, to trace that journey from its roots in ancient Greek all the way to how it gets radically redefined in the Gospel of John.
Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. The root. Logos comes from the Greek verb legen.
Right, which is interesting because it originally meant something very physical, to gather, to collect, to pick out.
Gathering stones or sticks.
Exactly. And what's so fascinating is how quickly that physical act becomes an intellectual one. The Greeks basically realized that if you gather words and arrange them in a meaningful order,
you get coherent speech. You get reason.
you get reason.
Yeah.
And so logos immediately has this dual sense. It's both ratio, which is your inner thought.
And oratio, your outer expression of that thought.
Precisely. It's why we still have the suffix ology today. It means a rational account of something.
And then this idea of an orderly collection just explodes onto a cosmic scale. I'm thinking of Heraclitus.
Yes, he was the first to really scale it up, saying the logos is this eternal, objective law that governs all the change in the universe. It's what keeps flux from becoming chaos.
Which leads us right to the Stoics. This is a huge step.
A critical step. The Stoics essentially identified logos with God, with nature, with providence itself.
The anima mundi, the soul of the world.
They even had this concept, logos spermaticos.
Seminal reason.
Right, this idea that the divine generative principle is embedded in everything. And, crucially for you, the listener, they believed every human soul contains a fragment and a apospasma of that divine logos.
So reason is literally a spark of the divine inside us.
It's part of our very core.
Okay, so if the Stoics already put a piece of divine reason inside every person, what makes John's later claims so revolutionary? We must be missing the Jewish side of the story.
We absolutely are. Before you get to John, you have to look at the Hebrew precedents, which bring in this idea of an active creative power.
You mean Dabar Yahweh?
Exactly. The word of the Lord. In Genesis, God doesn't just think the world into being, he speaks it. It's an action.
A creative force.
Yes. And then you have Sophia, wisdom personified as this feminine figure who was with God from the very beginning, like a master architect of creation.
So you have the active power of Dabar and the structural blueprint of Sophia. Is there a final piece that bridges the gap?
There is, the Memra. It's an Aramaic term from the Targums, the interpretive translations. It acted as an agent, a go-between, bridging the gap between a totally transcendent God and the material world.
Okay, that background sets the stage perfectly for the tension. You have someone like Philo of Alexandria.
A brilliant Hellenistic Jewish thinker.
Right, and for him, the logos was a metaphysical necessity, the idea of ideas. But he could never, ever have imagined it becoming physical.
Absolutely not. For the Greek mind, logos, reason, and sarx, flesh, were total opposites. They were antithetical.
And that is the conceptual weight of John 1.14. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us.
That's the Johannine revolution right there. John isn't just borrowing a philosophical term, he's hijacking it and claiming to fulfill it.
It must have been a genuine scandal to a Greek listener. Pure, eternal reason found in something so temporary and, well, messy as a human body.
Exactly. John is asserting that the very principle that orders the entire cosmos took on our fragile existence. He grounds ultimate rationality not in an abstract concept, but in a specific historical person full of grace and truth.
So when we pull it all together, what does this mean for us? This deep dive shows the logos is this ultimate personalization of truth. It unites that Greek search for rational order with the Jewish desire for a God who acts and reveals himself.
It's the ultimate merger of philosophy and theology, and it leaves you with a really provocative question to think about.
Which is?
Well, if the logos is the reason behind all reason, what does it mean for you when you consider that the rationality of the entire cosmos is tied not just to an eternal principle, but to a specific historical event? How does that tension change how you might approach knowledge and truth today?